Hi there, this is Linda and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you guys about a much anticipated topic, one of my favorite topics and something I've gotten so many requests about, travel journaling. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So in this video, I want to share with you my process for travel journaling and some of my spreads and answer some questions I get about travel journaling. So I'm going to start by flipping through some of my travel journal spreads from the past few years, and then I will jump into sharing what I brought with me on my most recent vacation to journal and a little bit about my process while actually traveling. I will wrap up at the end with some questions that I got over on Instagram and just some things that I want to share just because, like tips and that type of thing, based on a lot of questions and things I've gotten. I will put timestamps in the description box below if you want to jump just to one area of the video or another. I also want to kind of disclaimer this by saying that I have tried travel journaling for over a decade. I tried to dig back through my archives of journals and I found some travel journals as old as 2015. I'm not going to share those ones with you because they are kind of stashed away in my basement, but I did look at them not that long ago and my style has changed. I failed miserably at travel journaling the first few times I tried it. I didn't keep up with it. I don't love the way that they looked. I was trying the wrong books, all sorts of things. So I just want to say that at the start of this. So if you've never done travel journaling before and you attempt it and it doesn't work out, that doesn't mean that it's not for you. That just might mean that you need to kind of tweak your system and your process and make it work for you. So all of that said, let's go ahead and start diving into some of my travel journal spreads over the past 3 years. Okay, so I'm actually going to start with a vacation from 2023. And at that time, I was still struggling to find a good daily journal for myself. And I was using the Hemlock and Oak daily journal. And this journal has 1 page per day that looks like this. And it's very pretty. It's nice, thick paper. It's great quality paper, but not Tamar River paper. But this book didn't work for me. And mostly because this is what it looks like. It is this thick hardcover book. And I carried this with me on vacation and it was way too much. So I'm just going to flip through quickly. I did have to kind of cover some things, but essentially I just did kind of like a play-by-play of what happened each day. I took this with me on vacation. I was adding in ephemera. I did like a day 1, day 2 thing at the top. I was doing mood things and that was something I was doing this year. I don't even remember exactly how all of those worked, but I don't remember my key or anything. I think it's probably in the beginning. But I just wanted to kind of show you a little bit of what I did here. And at this point, you can see it's mostly just journaling. And that is definitely a journal style you could use where you're just doing a lot of writing. I personally like to add more stuff in the future from this, like now. And you'll see that in my future spreads. But for this one, you can see it's mostly journaling, markers. These are mild liners that I brought with me, clearly like a couple of pens. And then like this day, I wasn't feeling journaling, so I just kind of did this. Large words, which worked really well. And then I kind of fell off. And what I had done was I had left myself sticky notes of what to kind of put on these days. And then I just never got to it. And then I went back to my like non-travel spreads, which you can see kind of looked the same. So essentially what I did was I just kind of worked this into my travel spreads or to my regular daily spreads. And that is definitely one way that you can do travel journaling. Okay, so moving into 2024, I was in the Hobonichi Cousin. And as you can see, this is a super chunky book. I use this for my daily journaling and I worked my travel journaling into here. And that's kind of similar to the process of what I do now. So the first trip in here was this trip to St. Lucia. So I had my travel day here was just some journaling. And then I think this was also part of the travel day. Yeah, this is part of the travel day. It was like a 2-day travel. So I just did all my journaling here. And then here I added in a magazine cutout, some lettering. And this is a picture from this trip. And I printed this once I got home on matte Epson presentation paper. And that is just one way you can do it, where you could just leave space and put your photos in when you get home. Because I did have a travel printer, but I didn't print that one. Here you can see for this trip, I brought some things cut out of magazines. I brought some stickers in washi. And I, again, focused a lot on just journaling what happened. Here is where I brought my photo printer. This is the photo printer that I use while traveling. It is the Canon Selfie Square. This one is still available. It is sometimes hard to find. I think they have an updated version, so I will link what I can find in the description box below. But I really love this. It makes some really thin photos. They're not quite as thin as some other papers, but it's thinner than a regular photo paper. And they're stickers, so you can just stick them down on your page, and they're really nice to use while traveling. I also was adding ephemera and just other stickers and things, and so that's kind of what I have here. So here's a photo I printed once I got home. So I think what I ended up doing this time is I filled in as much as I could while I was there, and if I had gaps, once I got home, I filled them with photos, and then that's it coming home. So next in here, I have a quick little road trip. So I went to Lake Placid. So you can see I'm starting this where I add these titles. I've been doing this before I leave on vacation to set up my journal. And I just tend to do that instead of bringing those things with me. So I'm thinking I probably put all of this before. And then while I was there, this was one of the notepad things from my hotel. So I used that for some journaling. And then here I picked up a new washi tape while I was there. So I just added that in here, the swatch and some ephemera from the package. And then here, this is all stuff cut out of ephemera that I picked up. I picked up like free flyers and all of those types of things. And I use that to decorate. And then here as well. This I'm thinking I either set it up ahead of time, like these washi, or I did it once I got home. So on this trip, I pretty much just brought a black pen. And this is the Tombow Food and Suki soft tip. And that's it. I didn't really bring anything else. It was just a quick overnight trip. I brought adhesive, of course, and scissors. But besides that, like I just used what I was able to find on vacation rather than bringing a ton of supplies. And that definitely works really well if you don't have a lot of space or you don't think you'll have a lot of time to pull things out and you just want to jot down what is going on vacation as opposed to getting super crafty. Next, I have a large trip that I went on to Europe. So I went to Eastern Europe. So here again, we have our travel day. It was a very long travel day. This Let's Go I did ahead of time. And then I think I added these stickers and stuff before I left. And I think I added this once I got home. So that's totally fine to come back and like add things in later. But while you're traveling, what I like to do is get all of my words down as much as possible and use what I'm able to collect on the vacation. So here I have my boarding pass for my trip. And then this spanned the change of the month. So I have my August vision board here, which is something I did before my trip. And then our first stop was Berlin. So I started that on August 1st here. I added a photo, again, printed with my Canon Selfie Square. I have some washi tape and things. And then here I'm adding stuff that I found while I was there. So it's essentially just journaling with some titles. And then I have photo printed. And then everything else besides a little bit of washi tape, which I might have done ahead of time, is ephemera. So I clearly bought some washi tape while I was there. So I was able to kind of use the new washi tape I bought. I visited a Travelers Company partner shop, so I did an extra stamp to put in here. This was like packaging from something. This was like the paper from my food that I got. So just adding in whatever I could find. Here I went to Prague, so I added these in ahead of time. So for each destination, I like to do this where I come in and I know when I'm going to get somewhere, so I will put that down. So this one, I put it kind of halfway down the spread because I knew I'd have some travel stuff in Germany before I left. I have this like little voucher thing from the paid bathrooms in Germany. And then here's some new washi tape that I picked up. Some of this, like this was a sticker for my stash and this too. So I think I brought some of that stuff with me. Here I added a sticky note to kind of like focus on like a bigger text thing. I don't love how that one came out, but it still was fun to try. Here we're in Prague still, adding in ephemera. This again was like paper that I cut out from, wow, you can almost not see it there, but it's like, was like the wrapper from a restaurant again. Here's a ticket to something, then heading to Vienna. Again, like adding whatever ephemera I could find. And then I have some stickers that were things I brought with me that I thought would go with whatever was going on that trip. So this, I was supposed to see Taylor Swift this day in Vienna, so I had put this in advance. I didn't get to see Taylor Swift because the concert got canceled due to a terrorist threat, so I was definitely journaling about that. Then we headed to Budapest, and here I added in my ticket, and again, adding some stickers and things. When I went on this vacation, I packed an assortment of washi, stickers, markers, and things that I thought I would use. And then, of course, my camera or my photo printer and adhesive and scissors, so I could add a lot in here. Budapest journaling. Then we went to Istanbul. I have a little gap here. I just never finished it. That's totally fine. Sometimes I'm not going to finish the page. This one I did really good job, I think. I still haven't created my travel album, so this journaling will definitely be a huge reference for me when I create that. And then here's Istanbul, and then like this day I just never finished, and that's okay. And then this was our travel day. So I had stuff from the Paris Olympics because that had happened while I was traveling, and I would normally include that in my journaling, but these days were taken up with the travel. Okay, so the last travel I want to talk about from 2024, it was this quick road trip to Quebec City. So I just added a couple things. I added in a business card. I'm constantly thinking about the added bulk because this is thick and it adds bulk to my journal. But for travel, especially, I like adding in more things and I'm okay with it adding bulk. And then I had this day here where I'm adding in ephemera that I cut out of things I was able to find while I was there. And then also just a couple stickers, bringing some travel themed stickers, and then stickers of things that I know I'm going to do. Like I know I'm going to go out and get coffee, so some coffee stickers. And then here's our travel day home. So I just adding journaling about that, and then back to my normal journaling. Moving into 2025, I used the Cousin Avec system, and this is a 2-book system. So I have January through June in the first one and July through December in the second. This was much better for me because these do get bulky, and that way, especially when I'm traveling, I don't have to carry such a thick book around when I travel at the end of the year. So I'm going to flip through a couple of my travels from this year and show you how those went. So in February, I went to the Middle East, and our first stop was Doha. So I have my travel day. You can see again, I'm setting these up in advance. This tends to be what I'm using are these alphas cut out of magazines, but you could use alpha stickers. You could stamp. I think I've stamped in some future ones. So you can see just different ways that I kind of create my titles ahead of time. And I'm going to share some about that later in this video. For this trip especially, I had these stickers that were from Hubman and Chubgirl, and I used those to decorate. I think I probably have a YouTube video setting up for this trip. If I do, I'll link it in the description box below. And then here getting into Doha day 1. So this is like kind of travel. And here I put a title and adding my journaling, again, using my selfie square for photos. I think, so this one was like a travel day and I didn't actually journal a bunch about it on the day. So what I did instead was just like a recap of Doha instead of doing specifically about that day because there wasn't really much to say. And then here's day 2, again, adding in like the paper from a burger I got. This was from a napkin from this ice cream place. Adding in some sort of ephemera. My ticket, flying to Dubai. And then the Dubai title, and this was obviously added ahead of time. And then Dubai day 1, adding in my ticket here, adding in tickets, playing with titles and things while I'm journaling. This one I think is my favorite page, how this came out. This was cut out of a flyer. This Abu Dhabi was added ahead of time. This was added ahead of time. Then I cut this out of a flyer, and then I brought these stickers with me. And of course I printed a photo, and I just added some kind of titles and then did my journaling around it. This day we went to the Burj Khalifa. I picked up some stickers while I was in Dubai that were Dubai themed. So I was able to use them in here. And for the final day, I didn't journal about it. So instead I did kind of a recap of my favorite things and the things we didn't like about Dubai, and then added in a couple of memes that I had collected during the vacation. So next we took a vacation to the West Coast. And so this one was in the United States. We stayed in domestic, but it was still a big vacation because I live in New York, so it's pretty far. And there was still a lot going on, and we had a lot of destinations. So this was our travel day. I decided to do a little doodles here of kind of like what was I bringing with me while I was traveling, and figuring out kind of what my plan was. So what I do, and this is what I'm doing now, and this is 2025, so it's different. I had my Paddington Hobonichi Weeks this year. My everyday carry is this Soft Paper Studios journal or planner that looks like the Hobonichi Weeks, but it's just undated. So I use something like this for messy notes while I'm traveling. So at the end of a long day, I come back to the hotel room, I'm too tired to journal. I pull this out and I will write in here just quickly what happened that day. Like, oh, this is what we went to see. This is where we ate. Just like factual, like bullet points. And that way, when I come back to do my journal page, maybe it's the next morning or the next afternoon, or even a couple days later, I can use that as reference to remember what we did and kind of prompt my memory to add more details. Here we were in Seattle, so I'm adding in ephemera, things I purchased. I'm buying stickers of the local places, adding in little subtitles here. I brought my camera again, adding in ephemera. So here's something from like a restaurant we went to. Here's a sticker from a museum we went to. I purchased some stuff at some craft stores, so I'm using my new products in here. Here we did national parks, so I'm putting in some stickers I picked up and the national park stamps I got. Then we went to Portland, and normally I would put a title of the location, but I had this Portland like sticker from Cocoa Daisy that was just too perfect, so I put that in. Some business cards and stickers. And then here adding in a photo. I tend to do photos when I don't have as much ephemera. So like a day like this, I had a lot of things I picked up. So I didn't need anything else to fill the page. Here, I didn't have anything I picked up because we went to a beach and so there's no ephemera to grab. So I did a photo instead, and adding in still more stickers and stuff from that Cocoa Daisy kit that had all this Portland stuff. So of course I brought that with me. And then here, this was the last day. I messed up here and I put the California Here We Come on this day when we were not, in fact, traveling to California this day. We were traveling the next day. So, oh well, I messed up. In the future, I'm going to be more careful to not do that. So here we're in San Francisco, business cards, a photo, adding in some ephemera. So typically what I will do for these is I'm adding in all of these things and then I'm just going to journal in the gaps. And then here for San Francisco, so I finished a book while we were in San Francisco. Usually if I'm doing a book review, because I do add my book reviews into my journal, I will add it after we get back and just like make a note that I finished it on vacation because so much is going on. But it looks like I'm pretty sure this day I was too tired and I didn't do my journaling while we were there. So I filled this in later. And here I have a photo that I clearly printed at home. I can tell as opposed to this is on the selfie, the Canon selfie, and this was printed with my home printer on Epson presentation paper. So I know that I did this once I got back, and I'm just filling in gaps, and that's totally fine. Here was the day we drove to Yosemite. So adding in some ephemera, there was a free newspaper, so I cut out stuff from that. I also had some San Francisco themed stickers from Everyday Explorers. So of course, if I have anything that's themed for that destination, I will always pick up stickers for destinations that I'm going to go so I can use them in my journal. This day we did Yosemite. I got a sticker there. This was something from Instagram that I printed that was related to Yosemite. And so I thought that that was funny. This was for my daily calendar this year. That was really nice themed. So I put that in. And then here I did this obviously once I got back home because again, printing photos. So I'm just backfilling. As you'll see in most of these travel spreads, I don't finish it all while I'm on the vacation. I will finish usually the last few days later or never at all. And that's totally fine. Here we went to Sequoia National Park. I have a sticker. I have a burger that was for my daily calendar. And then I have a picture that was printed at home. Moving into the second half of 2025, here was a quick trip to New York City. I live in New York. I used to live in New York City. I go down there a lot for work. So usually I don't really consider those travel spreads, but we actually went down for some like fun things. And we went to a Broadway show and Juliet. So I put my ticket in here. Then we went to a Mets game, Mets versus Yankees. So I put the sticker here I got from Met Stadium. We went to Strand Book. I went to Nico Zakaya, which is a craft store in Manhattan. So just adding stuff, and I bought new washi tape. So adding all of those things in. This was some washi tape that I had in my stash that had like a baseball ticket and a theater ticket. So I thought it was perfect. So I needed to add that in. But most of this is just journaling about my trip. We went to Anne Juliet and there was some confetti. So I added some of that in. So just, I'm always searching for ephemera, especially while traveling, which I think is so much fun. Let's see here. Here's another quick road trip. This one we went to Saranac Lake. And that is, just like an hour or so north, but I have a friend up there. So I was staying the night there. So I just journaled about it. I did this ahead of time. I got some stickers. This was a free sticker. This one I purchased, and some ephemera just about that trip. Then we had one more big vacation in 2025. And this one we went to Spain and Morocco. So this was my last kind of work day, and I didn't really journal this before we went because I was so busy like packing and everything. So what I decided to do was journal out all of the craft stuff that I brought with me. So here you can kind of see what I brought with me while traveling. I have my Coffee Monster Co. pouch, my actual journal, of course, some mile liners, some Sailor Shikiori markers, a fountain pen, which was my main pen, my Funisuki hard and soft tip, my Zig dot marker, ruler, whiteout, adhesive, scissors. Those are like basics. My Canon selfie, of course. And then, of course, some stickers and some washi. I put washi on samplers to bring with me, so I'm not bringing big rolls. And as far as bringing markers, I generally pare it down and bring just a few and try to get them around a specific color scheme. This day was also the day The Life of the Showgirl released, and it released in the morning before I left, so I was able to do some of this doodling before I left and put some stuff about that, even though it was our travel day, so I put this plain in here. For this one, I did stamping using this alpha stamp set from the Coffee Monster Co. to designate each of my days and adding in some washi tape, some travel washi tape that I had. Here we went to Barcelona, and I think this is like one of my favorite travel spreads. Maybe this is just me, but as I flip through these, the more recent they get, the more I like the spread. And so I'm just super happy with how these are coming together, and you can see my progress over time. So for this spread, I didn't have as much space to journal because I had so much ephemera, but that's okay. This was a packaging from, I think a croissant or something I got. I have business cards. This was cut from a flyer, a photo. And then I got some stickers ahead of time that were Barcelona themed. So I'm using those for like the specific things that we did on that day. So like this place we went here, Park Gael. And then this is this Tibidabo Castle. So I'm putting those stickers on here and I really like that. I also had some like just ephemera, like pieces of paper to add as journaling spots. I had a paella sticker. So just having fun with adding in those stickers. I forgot to pack any alpha stickers for this trip. So that's something that is kind of like in my must have. And I totally forgot. So I just made my own alphas here by writing out my alphabet or my word on one of these like pieces of paper. And then I just cut it out. And I actually really love how it turned out. So I'm super happy with that. Again, adding in pieces of paper, like a wrapper from a few things. Like this was from the tapas restaurant. This is from where I got my coffee in the morning. And then here, if I need more stuff, I can put a flip out. So this was a postcard that I purchased, and it's definitely adding a lot of bulk, but I decided it was worth it. So I just created a flip out with washi tape, and then I added some more thoughts about Barcelona in here and an extra photo. Just really enjoying and documenting this trip. This day we left Barcelona and went to Marrakesh, Morocco. I don't love how this page came out, but it's okay. Not every page can be the best. Here we're in Morocco. I'm adding in some ephemera. I added another business card and I made it flip out so I could add some journaling and so you could see both sides because I thought it was a cool business card. Here I did a little bit of drawing. I want to do more drawing and stuff, but that's not something I'm good at. So maybe in my future travel spreads, that will be something that shows up more. This was my birthday, so I had put like a little birthday washi there, but I was sick. I got sick on this trip, which was really frustrating. I had stamped out my age ahead of time. And then this was from like the flyer of what we did that day. I had these little like sticky notes to highlight some journaling. I like to add stuff like that. This day I didn't really have any ephemera, so I had a photo and I knew we were going to the desert, so I had some like desert stickers. Then Casablanca, adding in my ticket. Here was a ticket to the mosque that we went to. And then here flying back to Europe, to Madrid, adding in as much ephemera as I could find. So a bag from a store, stickers from a store, this was another Travelers Company store, so I'm putting the stamp in here. I'm collecting those elsewhere, but I'm always doing an extra one to put in here if I have the space. I was sick, so I have my Spanish cough drops. And then another one of the partner shops, but I didn't have space for it. Instead, I put one of the stickers they gave me. This one was the day we went to Segovia, and it was the last day on the trip. And so usually you can tell because it starts having pictures that were printed at home, because that means I clearly finished this once I got home. Totally fine. But I'm really happy with how this one came out. And I feel like every trip, I love it more and more as it gets to be closer to now. So I think it's just practice. So next, I just have our last vacation to share with you, which is in my 2026 journal. For 2026, I'm using this daily planner from Sterling Ink. It is a one-book system again, but it doesn't have weeklies, so that definitely reduces the thickness. Before I flip through this one, though, I'm going to flip to my video that I filmed before this vacation, where I wanted to share with you guys kind of like what I brought with me and how I set this up. And then I will pop back on with flip through of how this one turned out. Okay, so I think the best way to share kind of what I bring with me on vacation is to prep for a trip with you here. So I do two things to prep. One, I prep my journal in advance, and two, I pack up my bag. So as far as what I bring this pouch from the Coffee Monster Co. You can see the size of it. This is my A5 journal. It fits in here with a lot of room to spare. And essentially everything I bring related to journaling is going to fit inside this pouch and it's going to come with me in here. The only thing I won't put in here are my scissors, because I will put this in my carry-on and I'll put those in my checked bag. But then when I'm at destinations where I'm not flying, I will throw them in here as I'm crafting. Otherwise, everything will fit in here. And then the only other thing that I will bring are these large pouches. So these are pouches that can fit 12 by 12 paper. They are huge. They don't even fit in my camera right now. And these are from Studio Calico. These were what their old scrapbook kits came in. I still have a handful of these and I reuse them. So that's why I still have plenty of them. They're reusable, but you don't need these. You could buy any like zipper pouch, but essentially I bring one for each destination. So we're going 4 places on this trip. So I'm going to bring 4 of these with me. And while I'm there, I'm going to throw all my ephemera from each location into its respective pouch, and I will organize it when I get home. I also will pull from that as I'm journaling while I am on my trip, and all of the scraps and everything will just go right back into that pouch. So first thing I'm going to do is I am going to set up my journal. So I like to bring supplies with me so that I can journal while I am away. But I also, there are some things that I want to put in my journal that I'm not necessarily going to want to bring with me, like stamps. There are certain things like I know where I'm going to be certain days. So I will set up initially for that. I have this here in my planner for this trip, so I know where I'm going. I have my destinations and the dates that I get there and the date I come home. And I do have all of my flight information, so I'm going to confirm that, but I'm going to use that to prep my journal in advance and know which days I'm going to be in which location. And I'm going to put that information in here. So I'm going to start with setting up my journal, and then I'm going to figure out what I'm going to pack. Okay, so I did some stamping and I stamped using this set. This is from the Coffee Monster Co. and it was a limited release, but sometimes she does re-release things. So if you want that, I love it so much. You can see I used it here. I'm using Black Stays On ink. This is not the best ink to use in here because you do get a decent amount of ghosting. The ink that I really like, I'm all out of and I need to order a new one. So I'm just using this one. I do have ghosting. That's okay. I might strategically adhere some stuff there. But so this trip is starting, let's see, we have our travel day here. So I stamped out travel day. And then we are in the air for the entire day of January 28th. Not really, because it's a 12-hour time difference. So that's like we're losing 12 hours. But the other 12 hours of January 28th is spent in the air. So I added these cutouts from a magazine. And my guess is I'm going to document here about losing 12 hours and about the flight itself. I'm going on the world's longest flight. So I think that's going to be some of my story. And then I'm in Kuala Lumpur. So I just stamped out my destination on the day I got there. And then we switch into February, which is why I have my vision board there and my goals. And then we get to Phu Quoc, Vietnam. And for these ones, I put it in the middle of the day because that's when we're traveling. And then I have Bangkok, and I have Singapore. I skipped it. Singapore. And then the day we travel home, which is the world's longest day because I gained 12 hours, or 13, honestly, I think. So I am going to, now that I've done that, what I'm going to do is go through the rest of my supplies and figure out what I want to bring. And I'm probably going to add a little bit of embellishing to these pages as well now. I just wanted to do that stamping on voiceover because that takes a while. I am bringing a few different things to keep stuff in. So here I have a plastic acetate piece. It might be hard to see because it's transparent. I'm going to put some washi tape on here. I don't bring full rolls with me. I bring swatches, and I tend to make one of these for each vacation. I have a few of them stashed. Sometimes I will reuse one, but often I want to make a new one because I have new washi tape or new things that fit with that destination, and that's okay. I can pull off of my swatches while I'm at home. I'm totally fine with that. I also have this little pocket thing. This is from Everyday Explorers, and I'm going to use this to put some more delicate things. I have some magazine cutouts that I want to bring so that I can use some of those, and this will keep them from getting crumpled up in my pouch. I also want to bring some alphas and a few other things like that and stickers. But so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through my sticker sets, and I'm going to pick what I want to bring. I'm going to be looking for sticker sets that will be very versatile and useful for while I'm traveling. I want to make sure I bring at least one alpha set because that is something I like to use a lot. And then sometimes I'm going to pull some stickers and actually stick them down because maybe I don't want to bring the full set, or I know where I think I'm going to want to put it. I'm also going to go through and pull out some more magazine clippings to put in here and get all of that situated. Once I do my stickers, I'm going to go through and figure out my washi tape, and then I need to pick my markers and pens and other tools. So I'm going to go through all of that. I'm going to put you guys back on voiceover or a combination of voiceover and music while I figure out which stickers and magazine clippings I want to bring. I want to keep this very light. I don't want too many options, but I want enough options that I feel like I have everything I need. I'll pop back on and talk a little bit more about my selections and then about the next sets. Okay, so the first set of things that I'm going to go through to figure out what I want to include are things that are going to go into this clear pouch from Everyday Explorers. This includes magazine clippings and stickers. I went through the magazine clippings first. I just went through the ones in the current tray on my desk, which is something I fill up and kind of go through as part of my monthly plan with me. I had put things in there that were related to vacation, knowing vacation was coming up, and so I just pulled ones that I thought I might use while on this vacation. Then I went through and selected some alpha stickers. I always want to bring alpha stickers. I forgot to bring them on my vacation earlier last year, or towards the end of last year, to Spain, and I made it work, but that's something I always want to include. And then I'm going through my regular sticker sheets and trying to pick ones that I might want to use. As I'm doing this, I'm also selecting some stickers that I can just put on the pages to set them up, but I'm going through ones that are specifically themed for travel, ones that are themed for specific destinations I'm going to, or for different things that I might be doing while on this trip. I also am thinking about adding days of the week to these spreads because this journal doesn't actually tell you the day of the week. So I like to do that with stickers. So I went ahead and did that now so I don't need to bring that sheet with me. One final thought on stickers is that for the Cocoa Daisy sheets, sometimes those are too big and I'm just trimming them down if necessary so that the pieces of the sheet I want, such as the alpha stickers, will just fit into my little pouch. So the next step is washi tape. And so I'm pulling out my washi tape and I'm pulling out various different ones and different sections in my washi organization. I do have my washi organization in one of my craft room redo videos, so I will link that in the description box below if you're interested to see how I organize my washi. And what I'm just doing is adding some to my spread as needed, and I'm also wrapping some on my sampler to bring with me that I might want to use while I am on my vacation. I always bring one of these samplers with me on vacation, and I like to create one for my vacation that kind of fits the theme of my vacation, but I don't always use everything on the sampler while I'm on vacation, so I often will either try to use these up when I'm at home, or sometimes I will reuse one on a future vacation. That's totally fine. For this one, I wanted to create a new one, mostly because these destinations are a little bit different from some of my other vacations. I have, it's very hot. I have some travel theme. I have some beach. I had some tropical ones. And also because I wanted to make it for this video, but sometimes I will just just reuse one from a previous vacation, and some of my shorter trips, I will just definitely reuse one. So next I wanted to pull aside my basics that I'm going to bring. I'm going to make sure to bring a rolling adhesive and make sure it's full, and so I won't need a refill, my scissors and my ruler, and then I need to go through my pens. I want to bring some basic pens to write with. I usually will bring 2 of whatever my basic pen is. Usually I do gel pens while traveling because fountain pens are kind of difficult to travel with. And I almost always want my Tombow Funisuke soft and hard tips because I use those a lot. My clear or clean color dot marker in gray, which is my favorite. And then I'm going to go through my mild liners and my Sailor Shikiori markers and my Ritex sign brush pens, and I'm going to swatch them and come up with a color scheme. I can't bring every single marker I own, so what I like to do for these trips is come up with a color scheme so I have a few colors that kind of work together, and then I will use that on all of my spreads while traveling. Okay, so I just wanted to share my quick packing list, and you can go ahead and screenshot this. And I'm also adding a timestamp so you can jump back to here. But this is just what I brought with me on this specific trip. Generally, this is my travel packing list. I will adjust depending on the length of the trip, depending on the space I have, depending on what I'm feeling like doing. But this tends to be what I bring, and then I look for ephemera and things while on vacation to add to my spreads, and that's really what makes them special. Okay, so now I'm going to share a few clips of my travel journaling from the last few vacations I've been on and answer a few of my frequently asked questions about travel journaling. And then at the very end, I'm going to pop back on and share how my pages came together from Southeast Asia. So the first question I get is, when do you journal? And the answer to that is I journal whenever I have some downtime and I'm feeling like it. Usually the way that I travel is I get out early and do my sightseeing, and then we tend to come back to the hotel in the kind of late afternoon and relax for a little bit. And that's usually when I fit my journaling in. I know that everyone has different kind of travel patterns, but usually I spend some time in that afternoon, and I have basically prioritized finding that time to journal while traveling. If your travel looks different than mine, that could be time early in the morning before you guys get going. You could get up early and do some journaling to start the day. It could be in the evening before going to bed, whatever works for you. But the reality is you have to make the time to journal on vacation if that's something that is important to you. Second, I get a lot of questions about how I set up a page. So this has definitely evolved over time, but essentially I will start with my ephemera. Whatever I found throughout the day, I want to add that to my journal. I'm going to start with that, then I'm going to add some titles, and I usually will do my words last. I will add photos in around the same time I'm adding in my ephemera if I feel like a photo is warranted. I don't add a photo to every spread, but I tend to add it if I don't have a lot of ephemera, or if there was a particular particular photo that I really wanted to include. The next question I get is, where do I journal? So usually I journal in the hotel room. Most hotel rooms have a desk of some sort where you can journal. For me, it takes a little bit more creativity because I usually am filming my journaling process. But if you're not filming it, you can usually journal pretty much anywhere. Sometimes I find something better. A few of these clips, one, I found a rooftop deck in one of my hotels that had some table space that I could journal. There was another one where I had a balcony and I could sit outside by the beach and journal. And honestly, when we look for hotels, this is something I'm actually looking for because it is such a priority for me. And then another question I get is, what if you fall behind? And the reality is I do fall behind. I don't always finish my journaling spreads while I'm traveling. Sometimes I'm too tired. Sometimes I don't have the time. Whatever it is, that's totally fine. I bring my everyday carry with me and I keep some quick notes, and I force myself to do that every day. Even if it takes like 2-3 minutes to jot down some quick messy notes of what happened so that when I'm ready to come back and journal, I can fill in those gaps. I tend to start with the current day or yesterday, depending on the time of day when I'm journaling, and will leave gaps for wherever I have them, and I can always fill them in once I arrive home. The final question that I wanted to answer, and I don't really have an answer for, is that I got a lot of questions just generally about my process, and I think I've kind of answered that, but I do want to share that I have an entire travel and document series here on YouTube where I take you around on my vacations and I share my travels and my journaling on those travels with you. I will link that series in the description box below, and hopefully you can head over there and check out some of my traveling videos, and I plan to have more added very soon. Okay, so I wanted to share how this one came together, just to kind of wrap up this video and share with you kind of how these pages came together on this trip. So this was our travel, like our flight day, and these were from magazines that I had prepped the page with. I think I prepped it. You'll see, you will have seen in the video. And here I added in a wrapper from the food on the flight. Then in Kuala Lumpur, adding in as much ephemera and stickers I can pick up. Again here, so for this one, what I did was I printed 4 photos on one of these, and then I cut it down. I just used an app to put them in a grid, and that way I have like more little photos, and so I had more space because you can see I'm getting, I have a lot of ephemera and things to include. there were a lot of stamps in Southeast Asia. And I also picked up some washi tape, some new highlighters. So I'm just putting all of that in here. This was the change of the month. So I had my vision board and my goals. And then here we're getting into February, Kuala Lumpur. I have my sticker, my visitor pass from the Petronas Twin Towers. And of course, picking up as many stickers and things I can find. Here's some, just like a tape they use to close the bag at the gift shop. Any paper that I can find, I'm going to include. We went to Phu Quoc. Here I tried to add some drawing. Phu Quoc is an island in Vietnam, and we were at a resort. So for this part of the vacation, I had more downtime. So I was doing more journaling, adding in ephemera and things I found. This was something I cut out of a magazine and brought with me. So that is something I've been doing more, is bringing specific things I find on magazines or stickers that I think will work. So I have some travel theme stickers here. Here's a vacation one. While at the resort, there wasn't a ton of journaling I wanted to do, so I added in a resort map and just journaled around it. Then we went to Bangkok. I think this might be my favorite travel journal spread I've done. I have some ephemera. I used some alpha stickers and some stickers that I purchased while there. My boarding pass. Then we went to see a Muay Thai fight. So I added this in, creating, again, another flip out so I can add more because I had a sticker from a restaurant, a sticker from about the Muay Thai fight. I have some ephemera and a photo from all the stuff we did that day. Such a busy day. I probably could have filled multiple pages. Here, again, stuff I cut out of a magazine. This, you can see I have themed for destinations because I get travel magazines on purpose. I added in a sticker, this was cut from a bag, some business cards from Present Arabica. I went to 2 different locations, so I'm putting those in. Just as many things as I can find and just laying it out, adding in stickers and things that I brought with me. Here's something from a magazine, and then journaling around it. Then our final destination stop here was in Singapore. So again, setting up the page, adding in stickers and photos. I had some Singapore themed stickers that I purchased there, so I'm throwing those in as much as possible to match what we did. And here I have a ticket and a photo. Trying not to fill too much of the page with ephemera so I have space for my journaling, but definitely finding a balance. And then here I met up with Yin, who is a journaler and scrapbooker who lives in Singapore. So she left me a little note to put in my journal. She didn't want to write directly in here, so I cut it out and stuck it in. And that's it. That is going to wrap up a look at my travel journal spreads. I hope that this video was helpful to share with you kind of a look at travel journaling and how I do it and how it's evolved for me over time. Let me know in the comments if you have travel journaled before or if you want to, and if you have any questions or tips. Thank you guys so much for being here. As always, I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye.